Patreon, going strong. If you want to go over there and join in on the fun, we got 3 tiers on Canadian dollars. First tier is $3 a month, where you get these episodes ad free. You also get AMAs once a month, or learn about me episodes once a month. And then on the second tier, which is $5 a month, you get everything from the first tier, as well as coverage of a reality show of yesteryear. That's right now Jersey Shore, currently in season 3. You can also go to the main feed, where there will be the first episode of every season released there, so you can try that before you head over to the Patreon. And then on the third tier, you get everything from the first 2 tiers, as well as coverage from a true crime documentary. We got the backlog of Ashley Madison documentary, Man with 1,000 Kids, Into the Fire, Lacey Peterson, and again, all those episodes for the first episode of each is in the main feed, so you can try that before you head over. So if you are interested, you can head over to patreon.com/realityt times 2, and you can sign up for whichever tier you feel for. Again, you can try before you buy, which basically means you can try any tier for a week before committing to it. Even if you are on other tier, if you are on tier 1 or the first tier and you want to go over to the second tier, you could still try that second tier for a week before committing to the upgrade. So again, that is at patreon.com/realityt times 2. And of course, the link is in the show notes, website, social media accounts. It's all available there. This episode is ad-free on the Patreon. So if you want to partake in that, you can head on over to patreon.com/realityt times 2. Welcome to Reality Tea Times 2, the podcast where we discuss all the trash reality TV we love to hate. I'm Tanika, and today we are going to be discussing The Last Resort, episode 1. So let's just jump right in. So, episode 1, welcome to the UK. Where exactly we are, I'm not sure. I think Ireland. Who the heck knows? The land of therapies, as Harper tells us. So we have Sarper and Shekinah, and we see with them that we're going to be at a castle, the Thornbury Castle, to be exact. These two have 8 bags between the two of them. Apparently, most of them are Shekinah's. That is not surprising to anyone who knows Sarper and, well, mainly Shekinah. So we're learning a little bit about their issues. I'm not going to be getting into the history of each couple. We know the history of each couple, but we still can't get used to being a husband. He looks like a deer in headlights when she says, introduces herself. I'm Shekinah. This is my husband. He just looks like, what? They have been married now for a year, and they're arguing so much. They will be staying in the Lady Jane Grey room. Somebody tells me she might be the Grey Lady. King Henry VIII, okay? He is the one who originally bought this castle, and Lady Jane is the only woman he actually loved. Okay. He stayed there for 10 days with his second wife, Anne Boleyn, who, as we know, based on history, he beheaded her. Yeah. Then we see Jenny and Smith, which I'm going to try to keep this as easy as possible, because obviously we know their diagnosis. This is really a tough one to watch, because hearing her speech and everything, we know where this is headed. So it's really sad to watch them, but we're here to report the news, so reporting the news. So she's just happy to have no parents, but he misses them already, y'all. He can't help himself. He misses them already. They have been together for 7 years. Y'all, we have been watching them for a really long time, okay? He was still legally married to his first wife when we met them, okay? So, the family restaurant, if you remember the family restaurant from the last season that they were in, it's dead. It's in the ground, 6 feet under. It's over. Yeah. She just wants out of there at this point. She says she will leave with or without him. Words we heard her say in their last season, with or without her diagnosis, she wasn't going anywhere. Where's she gonna go? With what money? Then we have Russ and Paula, two people I am not at all excited to see. Not at all. But they're OGs. They have been married for 12 friggin' years. I don't get how these two have been married for 12 very long years. And their son, I mean, we've seen Axel in, I believe, a 90-Day Diaries fairly early on, like it was still COVID times. And he was pretty little then. He is so little. What happened? Where'd the time go? Um, but they are still living in that RV that they were living in at the beginning of COVID. It's been 6 years, but I digress. They are staying in the Catherine Howard suite and it's haunted and she is real excited about it being haunted. She wants to see ghosties. She's ready to go. So what's funny with the two of them is we hear the front desk lady kind of saying, well, can you provide me with a card for any incidentals? Which is like, they have to pay for the incidentals. The show isn't paying for the incidentals, number one. Number two, they only did this because there are financial issues going on between the two of them. And I'm going to go in on Pow like a goddamn vengeance, okay? I'm going to be on her like white on rice, like flies to shit. I'm serious. Okay. So basically, he pulls out a card, which is her card, and she talks about that. She is gonna go off on him about the fact that, oh, she's the breadwinner. He doesn't, do anything in terms of the bills. He's lost jobs a couple of times. So, obviously that's kind of put strain on the finances. Um, she pays for everything and like she's having issues with him, like, not stepping up and being the provider. Okay, y'all ready for me? Here we go. Number one, ma'am, you made him leave Oklahoma where he had a good paying job in order to support you and him. Okay, he left Oklahoma so that he could be with you in Miami so you could become a model. What the fuck ever happened with that? I don't know. The last thing we saw you do was a photo shoot in goddamn Colombia. Okay, that and the music video that she did back in Colombia, if y'all remember. Okay, not a shit since she got pregnant with Axel. Okay, so much for the goddamn modeling career. And again, the job he freaking does is not going to happen in Miami. And then now you go and live in a goddamn RV. You now are going to be moving to Vegas. You are a wrestler. So you're doing that now. But again, wherever you're going to go, he's not going to be able to have any money or make money in a field that he was making good money in. Listen, ma'am, he was able to sponsor your ass here in the first place. He was the supporter. He was the breadwinner. So now, because you wanted what you fucking wanted, then here is the karma for those decisions. You don't get to sit here and complain because he's not making money, man. That is on you. Because you wanted what you wanted and he gave you what you wanted. And in the process of him giving you what you wanted, he's no longer making the quote unquote, or isn't quote unquote the breadwinner in the way that you want him to be. This bitch, I don't know why we're here. I don't know why we're here because we've been hearing constantly how they're going to get divorced and they don't get divorced. And she's a goddamn nightmare. Nothing has changed. She thinks she does nothing wrong. Oof. Okay. I want someone to say that to her. I'm sorry. I would literally, as a person who has seen their seasons, I would literally say, hey, pal, the reason he's not the breadwinner is because you want to move to Miami. That's why. That's why. I mean, I do think someone does say it to her, but I'm just like, you're so goddamn delusional. More on my anger towards Pow in a future episode. So, their 12-year anniversary is actually coming up as they're going to be in therapy. I mean, there are worse places you could be. You're in Ireland in a haunted room. So, which she's perfectly fine with. So here we go. So she's actually gone behind his back and seen a lawyer because she's done. Like she's ready to walk away. Then we got Kara and Guillermo, another couple that I don't understand why they're here because we know they're absolutely dead in the water. They have been married for 4 years and separated now for over a year. So that's it. Nothing more we need to say about them because they are dead in the water. More on them later. Then we have Rebecca and Ziad enjoying high tea. She tells him, can you button your shirt? We are in a castle. Okay. You don't have to be like a mom. Just let him do what he wants to do. So she said trust is an issue for her. She's been cheated on before. I think we knew this. She tries not to bring that to the relationship. We all try, but it's hard. We get it. When she catches him with a blonde in a parking lot, where were you? When we saw him walking in the parking lot with the blonde girl, who apparently is the wife of a friend of his who wasn't with them. Oof. Oof. It was such a good episode of Diaries, man. Next, we have Patrick and Thais, married for almost 3 years. They're staying in the Anne of Cleves room. She was another wife. Not sure what happened to her, though. Not sure at all. She could have been beheaded. She could have gotten divorced. Or she could have just died. Who knows? Oh, yeah. Apparently, the only one of his wives actually died, I guess, of natural causes versus either A, being divorced or B, beheaded. So, yeah, he's a tough man to please, apparently. All he can think about is sex at this point, Patrick. Then he asks, are you wearing underwear under that skirt? And in a sense, it's weird. On the one hand, it's like he's shaming her because her skirt is short and he thinks like her ass is going to hang out. But on the other hand, because men are men, he's also then thinking of like easy access. You know what I mean? So it's like, first of all, A, make up your mind. Number B, did I say number B? I did. B, she can wear the fuck she wants. Like, okay. Especially when we hear the reasons he is the way he is and it's all like ridiculous. Anyways, so yeah, she's saying like, men stare at you all the time. That's her fault that men are staring at her. First of all, number one, sir, she's gorgeous. You damn well know she is. You're one of those men who was staring at her too. She just happened to pick your stumpy ass. But like, still, she's beautiful. But men are gonna look at her. She's like a great body. Men are gonna look at her. That's not her problem though. Men are gonna do what men are gonna do. It depends on is what she does. If she ain't giving that attention, then what's the problem? Again, it's men shaming women for men being how the fuck they are. It's always that old age thing. Well, what were you wearing? What did you do? What were you saying? Always blaming it on women because she's beautiful. Well, it's her fault that men are looking at her. You'll fuck him. Anyway, He says the lack of sex is like, once that goes away, it means a divorce. I mean, I, 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 I can understand to a degree. On the other hand, the way he hyper focuses on sex and gives sex so much credence in his relationship, we don't know the whole picture of what happened in his previous relationship and that divorce. But I'm going to just guesstimate that if you were the same way with her as you are with Thais, that women are going to get irritated by the fact that you're putting so much credence on sex. Relationships are more than just sex. And listen, I have no issues with people having sex every day if that's what you want to do. But it's the issue is having the expectation that you have to have sex not just once every day, but multiple times in that day. That's the problem. And then saying and hinging on the sex being as consistent as you want it to be as a sign that there's no cheating. It's ridiculous. It's toxic. It's toxic behavior. So yeah, he says more sex means it's fine. But having sex 6 times a day, as I just said, is too much. And when she goes to Brazil without him, she goes dark. And he doesn't know what she could be doing. More on that one later. So Guillermo is going to be sleeping on the couch. He doesn't trust what's her flip and flaves? What's her name? Kara. He doesn't trust her. So he won't be sleeping in the bed with her. Um he says he's not ready for that. She says, you associate sleeping in the bed with sex, which sure, but I don't think it's just that. I think he really truly does not want to sleep beside you. Like point blank period. She wants to get mad at him for not sleeping in the bed. I think we respect his boundaries here and just let him sleep where he wants to sleep. If, down the road he decides, hey, I'll just sleep in the bed with you, then fine. But like, you can't be mad because he doesn't want to sleep in the bed with you. You guys are separated. Um, so he explains to us, which maybe is one reason why he's not feeling very comfortable, is he says, well, listen, the last time we had sex, like you used me. So basically it's like she was horny. He was there. She said, come fuck. And he's like, okay, because men, am I right? Been there. And she, the next day, because he's thinking, oh, things are going better now, right? Because we've just had sex. So let me try and have sex again. And she didn't want to, or she rejected him, or whatever was that happened. And it obviously turned him off. I get it. I do. I I think when you're dealing with marriage and you're doing that kind of thing, yeah, it can get very complicated. There are going to be moments of backsliding. So it's it's tough. It's a tough situation, but it's a tough situation. Anyways, so their first therapy session is going to be the next day, but for tonight, we're going to be going to the pub to meet the other couples. So Jenny just has one request for Submit. Don't drink. Or drink, don't get drunk. Since the family cafe closed, he's actually been partying quite a bit, drinking more. Funny, because wasn't it like Jenny who had to hide her alcohol from Mama Submit? Now it's Submit that has to hide his alcohol use, not just from Mama Submit, but Jenny. So Shekinah is an idiot or a racist or potentially both. I'm going to say both because she doesn't know how to say Guillermo's name. She's calling him Guillermo or Durana fucking Mo. Are you serious? Ma'am, if you don't get the fuck off my screen, it's Guillermo. Now, I say it like an English person because apparently I think it's Guillermo or no, it's Guillermo. Because I think that's how Pau said it and how he actually says it. So But of course, I'm used to saying it as Guillermo, so I'm going to say it that way just for my own peace of mind. But it's not hard. Whether you're saying Guillermo or Guillermo or Baby G, as I love to call him from their first season, I call him my baby G because I love him. Yeah, there's Geronimo. Are you fucking kidding me? Oh my God. More on her later. But she just wants to be sure that he doesn't make a joke of the relationship because that's what he's been doing in his stand-up routines. Um, he just doesn't say things to her face. That's the problem. If you're going to use certain things as a joke in your comedy stand-up or whatever, you need that had to have been established or at least dealt with within your couple, and he didn't do that. So, um, it feels like you hate being married. In his defense, he didn't want to do this. He didn't want to get remarried. We all saw him say like he this is his second marriage, and the first marriage was absolutely atrocious, and he vowed that he wasn't going to get married again. He's made it pretty fucking clear he did not want to get remarried. So he very well could hate being married. Anyways, everyone thinks you hate being married and that I'm hideous without makeup. Wait the fuck a second. She literally says, you make everyone think that you hate being married to me. And then let's make it even more about yourself by saying, and now everyone thinks that I'm hideous without makeup on because you keep telling people that I'm hideous without makeup on. Everyone's hideous without makeup on when you wear makeup. Like, if you don't wear makeup and you have flawless, clear skin, then it's fine. When you wear a lot of makeup all the time, it's not so much that you look hideous, it's more about that your clogs are port. Your pores are clogged, okay? That doesn't help. Anyways, Rebecca is mothering Z yet again, telling him, don't unbutton that top button. Don't do that. You're his wife, not his mother. What the fuck? She's like, it looks like you're just trying to pick up women. Okay, sure. Now, the couples are meeting each other, whether they're meeting them at the castle or meeting at the pub. That is what is happening. And Shekinah is big mad because Thais is here. And Thais followed me on Instagram and she thinks like she's being fake and disrespectful. We've seen how Shekinah puts a lot of credence on social media. We saw how she did it with Serper in their first season when he wouldn't post a picture of the two of them on his Instagram. We saw this. I am not surprised that she puts a lot of credence on social media. I'm angry and annoyed that she does as a grown-ass woman with a child, but it is what it is. I understand that social media is probably important for her business and whatever, but what I am upset about with this whole situation is that you're actually going to start an argument with somebody over it, and someone who's not sober. And I mean, I think Super was sober too, but he's supposed to be your partner, whatever. What I don't understand is you're actually starting an argument about it. What I don't understand is that you don't realize that this freaking social media is fucking stupid and will unfollow people randomly. What I don't understand is how you say, oh, I just saw that like you were a friend suggestion, and I was like, really weird because I thought we already were friends, but lo and behold, like you weren't following me anymore. No, bitch, that is not what happened. You want to talk about the fact that she's lying? Ma'am, if you ain't lying through your teeth about how you found out she ain't following you, you have one of those app things. I tell you when someone unfollows you on Instagram because you have nothing better to fucking do. Okay. This is so stupid. Grow up. She's what, 44? You're grown. I am 35 years old. I can give two shits about social media, whether or not someone is following me. Please. I don't care. I don't care. Because I got better and bigger things to be worrying about. Anyways, Sarper doesn't think a man should marry a woman older than him. It's scientific that a man can handle the age gap better than a woman can. Okay, all right. I mean, sure. I mean, some people here seem to be handling it just fine. She kind of ends up fangirling over Jenny. It is what it is. No surprise. She's the OG. Sarper talks to Patrick about some comments that he made about Sarper on Pillow Talk. Sir, it's Pillow Talk. They are meant to talk shit on said Pillow Talk. So Patrick thought that he's like, yeah, I mean, you fucked a lot of women. No, 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 not about that. Not about that. Not, please. He basically said, Patrick says, that Sarper had big ears. And Sarper, no, he got offended. My sweet baby Sarper got a little bit offended about the fact that Patrick said he had big ears. Sir, you do. You got big ears. Patrick, though, I gotta give it to you. Which is he drives me nuts, I gotta give it to him. Because he literally says, I just mean like for your head. It's big ears. Like you're gonna have bigger ears on a bigger head. See me, I have a small head and teeny tiny ears because my head's smaller. have you met Will Smith? What? Anyways, Petra's like, yeah, he doesn't deny it. And Petra says, I actually like you, and I'm sorry that I hurt you. And they're like, okay, well, if you talk about my ears again, I will fight you. I'm gonna fight you. Talk about my ears. Just ears, sir. In the back if you have an issue. Anyways. Jenny is trying to mother submit. Everyone's just mothering everybody. Okay, we got Rebecca mothering Ziad. We have Jenny mothering Submit. I think Submit gets off on it though. So I think like it's a lot. But she's mothering him on the drinking. And she then stops him from doing a shot in front of everybody. And he doesn't like that. She's like, let's go outside. And he says, I'm not drunk. You insulted me in front of everyone saying I crawled on the floor. Now, I think two things can be right. I do think that he got drunk one night to the point where he was crawling on the floor. But I also do agree, like, he's an adult. Let him do what he wants to do. If he wants to get drunk to the point where he's crawling on the floor, as long as he's being safe, like, what's the problem? You know what I mean? Yeah. So he says to her, like, you've been more controlling. I don't like it. I just want to go have a good time. So they end up leaving at this point because he's mad, she's mad, everybody's mad. Shekinah and Thais, this is where they have the conversation, y'all. And they go talk alone and talk about the whole Instagram thing. And she says, so I found out by seeing, I like said before, seeing a friend suggestion from you. And I mean, it's weird because like we're already friends. And I mean, I've been around long enough to know like it just didn't just happen. You've been around long enough to know. Instagram hasn't been around long enough to know shit. Anyways, let me continue. I want a reason, but like, there's no reason. So like, I needed to know. When people chime in that she's rude and is like, no one cares about you and whatever. So Sorper gets up to walk away because he is sick and sick and sick of this shit. He doesn't want to be a part of this. So he has to leave. They leave and she kind of gets mad at Sorper for leaving her. But he says, you started a fight and I don't want to hear it. Good point. Good point. He swears in Turkish, and this was a red flag. This was a sign of what was to come. Um, mind you, I got a lot of thoughts of that fight, but we'll get to it later on. She says, I hate your disgusting Turkish swearing. Like it's the most disgusting thing you could ever say. Why is it because it's Turkish? Why can't I just what is okay? So that's that. It's the next day. And it's therapy time. I mean, so we're going to be meeting the therapist now. So we have Parisian Lawson, Dr. Tyrone Granison, who is cute, y'all, and Dr. Tara with a very, very long last name. She's our sex therapist, and we're gonna have fun. So now we're gonna be going couple by couple. It's also gonna leak into the second episode, so we'll do what we do here on the first episode. So Patrick and Thais are first. So there have been a lot of stressors in their life, and then there's a lack of sex. But she says, no matter what, I can't be sick. I hear it's been 3 days and I don't like that. And I have been prioritizing myself, like going to the gym. And he tells me, it's too late. Are you going to see your boyfriend? Basically saying, I'm not going to work out. You're going to go meet your ex or your boyfriend or whoever. And she says she'll go to Brazil and get an Airbnb so that they have their space. But for Patrick, it's kind of like, oh, you're renting an Airbnb so that people can come over and be none the wiser. So yeah, he says like that's easy for anyone to drop by. And I see she spent like $2,000 on the credit card. He doesn't know what the charge is for. Now, $2,000 on the credit card, that's a lot of money. So he does think that they're shooting with all that in mind. But what is the charge for? Let's get to the bottom of that. What is the charge for? So here is what the charge is for. So she got liposuction in Brazil, and it was done on her back. And he did not know that she was doing the surgery. That is a problem because he's the next of kin. Like, what? Hi, everyone. So, I have a new product for you to take part in. This is for J Armor wallets. Now, you can get these wallets for a pretty good price. Partially, it seems at this point, partially American made, but they're going to be planning to be completely American made by the year 2027. The fun part is that you can actually see what new wallet styles are going to be coming in 2026. So a little bit about the company. The company was founded by Jake Hernandez, who is also a part of the U.S. Air Force veteran, or he is a U.S. Air Force veteran. So with his business, he is also supporting charities like anti-child labor organizations, veteran support programs, and efforts to rebuild American manufacturing. So this is clearly something that is very important to him, and honestly, really important to me as well. And going to the link in the show notes, which I will say what that link is in a minute, but going to the link in the show notes not only helps support this podcast, but is also helping to support J Armor as well as helping support the charities that he finds near and dear to him. So if you go to the show notes and you find that link, the link is jarmorwallets.com/reality times 2. So that is j-realiteatimestwo. So I hope you go on and support not only me, but as well as this company. Now, that's enough of me. Let's go back to the episode. Okay, everyone. So I'm just going to hopefully start off where I left off because I had to, take a break, come back to it. So Shekinah and Sarver. So they have communication problems, respect issues, and power struggles. Because again, if we remember, he is supposed to be alpha and she wants an alpha, but in his words, and we'll get to his words in a second, maybe she doesn't really fully want that. So yesterday, she says, I had words with another woman here, and her husband was behind her, but mine left me. Because yes, he walked away from her. He said he was gonna go pee. He just didn't want to deal with it really, because who does when you're talking about whether or not someone unfollowed you on Instagram? Okay. Um, he says, I left my easy life in Turkey for this. Her thing that she comes back with is this. You left your garbage life in Turkey and your life is awesome now. What the it seems to me like he was living a pretty great life in Turkey despite the 2,500 women, but, like, you know what I mean? It's that, like, oh, so because he's not in America, he has a garbage life? Great. But he says that she wants me to be an alpha, but, like, when I was here, first here, I was a ghost. He couldn't work. Obviously couldn't get a green card, so he couldn't be a provider. But now he is working. He says, "I am the breadwinner now. I'm more than the breadwinner. I'm the whole bakery." And she's gluten-free. What I Harper, I've missed you. S Stay the way you are, except for when you're about to beat up Baby G later on, but we'll talk about that later. But, like, I love him so, so much. Anyways, um apparently, in their fights, he will say that I will fuck all the women in our home, like in their neighborhood, which isn't good, not great. We've heard that he's kind of done stuff like this before, when he was first here, when he was making comments like that, and that's him hitting a sore spot for her, and he knows it is. So that's him fighting dirty. But then Rebecca inserts herself into all of this, which is like, listen, you're here to observe, you're here to take in and everything. I get it. But you don't have to interject. Your your marriage is in the shitter, no different than his right now, okay? But she says, I would love for Ziet to be in control, but like Ziet disagrees that she does not allow him to be in control. And I would agree. I never realized, and we'll see it throughout, how mean she actually is. How Like, I have no issue with her being rough, and she's been through life, it's fine, but she's mean. I never thought she was quite like that. Maybe we've also never seen her in a setting like this, where she's in a group of people like this in some time, and the last time we saw her in a group like this, she nearly got into a fight with Angela. So, I mean, and Angela, well, we're always gonna blame her for anything she's fucking doing. So I don't know. It's just it's weird. That's all. Um, and then Sarper, like, hearing this conversation, is like, I'm triggered. I'm triggered. And then she tells Sarper to shut up. She kind of doesn't like that she did that, which I get. Like, why are you telling people to shut up? Um, and she kind of says, like, don't talk to my husband that way. And she's like, you look so angry. And she again tells both of them, I guess at this point, to shut up. And the look in her eyes, man, if looks could kill. She is, I don't like it. I don't like how she's acting. I don't like she's being mean like this. This doesn't bode well. But anyways, that is it. That's the end of episode 1. So we're gonna be jumping into episode 2 very soon. But until then, y'all, that is it for me, and that is it for this episode. If you liked what you heard, bear with me because I have not done an outro for the podcast in quite some time. So bear with me here. So if you liked what you heard, you can go to any of your favorite podcast apps. You can like, follow, make sure you don't miss a single episode. And you can also rate the podcast at either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. It'd be greatly appreciated. As a reminder, any 5-star ratings that are given to the podcast or any comments that are given to the podcast will be read on the podcast, which I have done in the past. If you want to connect with the podcast through social media, you can find me at Facebook and Instagram at Reality T times two. You can also find me at Twitter, TikTok, and Blue Sky at Reality times two pod. I believe you can email me at realityt times two at hotmail.com, and you can have any inquiries, anything like that, any ideas, any shows or episodes you want me to cover, you can definitely do that over there. And I am going back to our old website, and that is at solo.to/reality t times two. There you can get any of the links to anything that I didn't mention here, any of the socials, website, email, all of that. It's all there for you. And we also have a new thing there where you can help support the podcast as well. It's called a tip jar. And you could tip whatever your heart's desire if you want to support the podcast, but don't want to necessarily support the podcast in going to Patreon, for example, or any of the links in any of the advertisements. You can do it there. But since we're on the topic of Patreon, you can head on over to patreon.com/reality t times two, where there you can get access to even more than what I do here. There are 3 different tiers where you can get these shows ad free, as well as our next tier up where you would get another reality show that's being covered. So, we have Jersey Shore that's been getting covered. That's still being covered currently at the time of recording of this outro, but the future is bright with what's to come in the future, which I will be discussing, or I have discussed. I don't even know. And then also our next tier is a true crime tier as well. So you can definitely head over for that. But that is basically it. I will also just quickly mention here too, if you're interested in a different take of a podcast that I'm a part of, where we do things a little differently, you can head on over to Next Take Podcast, where I usually drop bonus episodes here on this feed, but there you get a lot more. And that podcast is making changes. We're growing, doing new things, but you can definitely head on over there if you want to just hear a little bit different than what I do over here. So you can find that podcast over at our website, solo.to/next take podcast. And there we'll have all the links to your desire that will link you to any of your favorite podcast apps or YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of it. Social medias, it's all over there. But of course, you can still find that podcast at any of your favorite podcast apps. But that is it for this episode. We'll see you next time with another episode. Bye, everybody.